Hello. We are live for the pre-production element of the Xander Gibb show. And we are just setting up the streams. Setting up the streams. Oh, yes, we are. We're live on YouTube. And Facebook is very, very slow today for some reason. So if you have just joined us, you're not watching some crazy person. You are watching the Xander Gibb show in pre-production mode. And we are just sharing the feeds so everyone knows where we are, what happened there. I don't know what is going on, but I know what happened. Show video URL. I think I clicked copy image or something stupid like that, but Facebook is not like advanced enough to say. It's not doing it for some reason. All right, let's see if that does what it needs to do. The wonders of modern technology and live. Still don't know if it's done what I need it to do. I don't think it has. Let me share it again just in case. Facebook, I hate you. With a vengeance. There we go. I just shared it a second time. Who is that handsome gentleman? Oh, it's me. We're just gonna grab the. Don't know why Facebook is so slow. Just gonna grab the feed address, the URL from. God, this is slow. From YouTube. It's like there must be a man on a bicycle, kind of pedaling really fast to get this going. I don't know if it's Facebook that's slow or what the hell it is. But we will get there with you. Just getting all the live feeds together and links and sharing them in various wonderful and magical places, including Parler. So if you are on Parler, be sure to check me out on there too. For some reason, it doesn't show my YouTube videos, just the link. But I don't know, maybe they want you to pay extra, which a lot of these news sites do. I'm still banned from Twitter. I don't know what I did this time or what I said. But I don't know, maybe one doesn't have to say things now. Maybe one has to just be a conservative, which is most concerning, to say the least. Here we go. That's that there. I'm going to share the YouTube link on the main page, under the YouTube Ujima Flip What's It, because I know some of you like to watch it on the big screen TV, which is great. So for those of you watching on the big screen TV, rah! Hope that scared you just a little bit. Excuse me while I get comfortable, because I have to sit here on my fat patootie for an hour talking to you folks. There we go. I think, Facebook is just not working with me tonight. There we go. That's that done. Let's go to the main page. Make sure that opens before I close it. Probably Mark Zuckerberg is sitting there on his phone saying, "Screw that Xander Gibb! How dare he say that I have a mail order bride, even if it's true? You're not a mail order bride, are you, Maylin? No, Marky, me love you. Wrong time." And it's gone again. Okay. That'll teach me to piss off the boss man. I will be saying hello to all of you individually in just one moment when we get.
Screw that, Xander Gibb.
Yeah, shut up, Xander.
How dare he say?
Come on.
Right.
There we go. That's that part of it done. What do we need to do now? We just need to share.
Even if it's true.
Do you know, I'm so freaking tired of this.
Right. How you made it?
There we go. That will teach me. It really will. Hello to everyone who's in the live feed already. You are most welcome. I'm just sharing the last few links on Facebook. Hopefully this will go through to share it directly from the page. Great. Okay, so we're just sharing. Just talk amongst yourselves. Really have to be careful not to share into the wrong groups, because I don't want to get banned. Isn't it funny, this cancel culture? Everybody wants to ban you when they disagree with you, or if you make a little mistake. So much for our forgiving society. I mean, I know some things are unforgivable, like, voting for the Democrats, supporting the Democrats, and, shit like that. But, you know what I mean. Sorry if I am a little quiet. I am just being careful to not share to the wrong groups. But we will get started in about a minute's time with the Xander Gibb show. Some people were saying I should have called the show the Xander Gibb Experience. What do you think about that? Do you think that would have been an interesting perspective? Here we go. I think we're there. We are there. We are there, and we are there right on time. And we're going to go into the opening titles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were ever bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Hello, welcome to today's edition of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. I am Xander Gibb, of course, bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. And on tonight's edition, I get on my soapbox, I'm having problems, and give you the chance to get on yours too and a phone in. We break down today's hottest topics, and in part 2, political commentator Tony Lusacco drops by. You can have your say in the live feed below, and as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go. You can follow me on social media everywhere but Twitter right now, because clearly Jack is a freaking idiot, shall we say. But he hasn't got a mail order bride like Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. You can also check me out at xandergibb.com. I've had coffee. I'm dangerous. I really am. Let's come to the live feed and say hello to all of my glorious peeps. Let's go backwards. Before I start, I want to say Goat Lives Matter. Hello to my Gina. Hello to Maria. Hello to my Gina again. Hello to my chat. Hello to my Dave. Hello to everybody else that is watching the show but isn't on the live feed. Do feel free to come and join us. Now it's time for Xander's News of the Day. So Kent Brockman has said it before, and he'll say it again. Democracy simply doesn't work. It's a view also embraced by the president and vice president of the University of Connecticut's undergraduate student government, who spurned the students who voted for them 4 months ago by resigning their elected positions. Now, their rationale is both ludicrous and probably genuine. Why people shouldn't lead. Vice President Alex Osei was the first to go last week, according to the Daily Campus. She cited the climate and the incidence of racial injustice across the country and the university without elaborating what's wrong at the University of Connecticut or why she can't address the perceived problem as an elected official. I feel that it's my duty to step down from my position to make space for BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, voices to truly raise and be heard. It's my responsibility to make space, not to create an echo. It would be nice to see student leaders of color emphasize that skin color is not destiny and that Blacks can capably represent whites and vice versa. Now, sadly, don't expect to see such leadership at the University of Connecticut anytime soon. Hey, Stevie, welcome to the show. I'm kind of like bamboozled by that. For some reason, Siri is listening to me and kind of copying what I'm saying. I guess that Mark Zuckerberg is tuning in on me again. So there you go. I'm Xander Gibb, and I am white. And if that offends you, then go and complain to someone else, or you can complain to me. You can email me at Xander Gibb, I don't give a crap.com. Hello to Dan, welcome to the show. I don't know if this is just the craziness of Connecticut, but I'm getting an impression that it's all colleges everywhere. So the Trump administration imposed sanctions on several senior officials of the Chinese Communist Party today, and the rest of the world has been aware of the CCP's human rights abuses in Xinjiang since 2016, yet other paying lip service. No other government nor United Nations Human Rights Council has taken any meaningful steps to address such abuses like the Trump administration has done. Now, Boris Johnson looks like he's ready to follow suit. Now, I don't know if you know this, but both America and the United Kingdom and several other countries owe quite a lot of money to China. And I think that what we should be saying to them is, hey, China, with regards to the money we owe you, there you go. There's the middle finger. That is all you are getting. Returning from summer break, The View quickly devolved into yet another shout fest between Meghan McCain and Joy Behar, prompting the lead host, Whoopi Goldberg, to scold the pair and threaten them with a quick timeout. I mean, a commercial break. Discussing education, Secretary Betsy DeVos, her Sunday talk show appearances, something the panel appeared to be in agreement over. So, Meghan, we're not seeming to get any real guidance from the Education Secretary. So what do you think a good idea for the plan could be? Goldberg noted after highlighting DeVos' inability to detail a comprehensive plan to safely reopen schools. Now, let's just remember that Whoopi Goldberg thought that Dr. Jill Biden would make the greatest Surgeon General ever when she's not a doctor of medicine. So there you go, folks. Well, first and foremost, on that point, Betsy DeVos needs a media training if she's going to have a job like this in the administration during a pandemic, McCain replied. I don't know if I have ever seen someone at that level be worse in interviews. This caused Behar to laugh, prompting McCain to tell her liberal colleague that this is quite serious before going on to say she was really disappointed and there is still no plan to safely reopen the schools this fall, while calling on both sides to be voted out. Yeah, what's funny, Meghan, is that media training is the least of her problems, and that's what made Joy laugh out loud. Behar eventually responded and said it's about communication. McCain shot back, prompting Behar to add, I know she sucks. Moments later, McCain took offense when Behar said The GOP doesn't care about education, griping that it's very aggressive and incendiary to say Republicans don't care about children. Sorry, Megan, you lie down with dogs, you get fleas. I mean, what does this woman expect? Everybody, hi Dan, welcome to the live feed, and hi Chikala. What do these so-called Republicans, and I think all of these that go on The View are really Republican light, what do they expect if they're getting paid to lie down with these liberal dogs? Apparently I'm not allowed to call them liberal, but it's okay to call them dogs. Not long since Kanye announced he was running for president, and in that short time much has happened. Tiffany Haddish dragged him onto Twitter for the announcement. Then Kanye announced the name of his political party, and it was creative. Plus, the Kardashians are reportedly already worried that Kanye could overwork himself. But what does Kim really think about the situation? Now, according to an inside source, because I have so many inside sources everywhere, Kim's support is unwavering, and she isn't taking the whole thing completely seriously, and doesn't really believe she'll become the First Lady of the United States. And apparently she's not concerned about what the public thinks, but of course his actions are making her a little stressed, though that doesn't mean she won't try to understand and support him, my source said. She will also continue to support him no matter what he ever does or says. She is never one to stray and will stand by his side. She's letting him do all of the talking, great, and will just support him whatever he needs. Make sure he stays on the meds, Kimmy. That's all I am saying. I mean, seriously, let's just take a second to assess that. President Kanye, I know it was hard to believe that there would be a President Donald Trump, but what has Kanye West ever done? That was a mixture of did and done, if you didn't realize. What has Kanye West ever done that could give you a brief ideology that he could run the country? Chet says Kim Kardashian's ass is ridiculous at this point. Apparently it's visible from space, and so are her lips. Dave said smashes a cookie carton to riot for a cookie. Okay. Chet also says no mercy, but I'm not sure what that is pertaining to. And finally, this is what I thought was quite funny today. Claudia Conway, the daughter of the White House advisor Kellyanne Conway, and the Trump administration critique asshole George Conway, announced on Monday that her parents were forcing her to delete her social media accounts. Yes. Now, she garnered hundreds of thousands of followers across her social media accounts, where she largely posted critical things about President Donald Trump. Should my parents have forced me to delete my social media, and this is my last tweet, Claudia wrote last night. Apparently I don't have a platform. It's fake. I love you all so much. Keep fighting. I mean, what a freaking household. Why is this woman still employed at the White House if her husband can't keep his fat mouth shut? And I can say that he's got a fat mouth because I have a fat mouth too. Let us know what you think, either in the live feed or you can call us. Because we've got time for a couple of calls just for a change. If you're in the United States, you can call us on 845-363-4747. And if you are calling from the UK, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5253. Sorry, 0208-132. No, I will get it right. I really will. I'm just so excited because I'm hopped up on coffee. 0208-133-5274. And if you're in the United States, 845-363-4747. I really shouldn't drink coffee before I come on live. Chet says he should try it sometime. Let me go backwards in the feed so I can just see what people are really saying. Gina says, Chet, are you going to drive around when you call in the guest yesterday? Yeah, he actually got pulled over by the cops, but it wasn't because he was talking on his phone. It's because he apparently, well, I can't say what it was. But for those of you asking, no, he doesn't have a wife. He bats for the other side. Let's just say. Chet said you should float on your pool and call in. That would be acceptable. At least you'd have a good freaking reception. Chet says it's a Cobra Kai thing, Zan, Karate Kid. Right, yeah, I haven't seen that for years. But where are we? Facebook's not letting me see. Let me see the freaking new comments, Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, I have said so many numbers, but I don't have it written down in front of me. I'm supposed to memorize it. Chet also says, I think I'll give Xan a ring. Yeah, give me a ring on 845-363-4747 if you're in the United States. And if you are in the kingdom that is not so united right now, because Scotland wants to leave, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274. Okay, I'm number lexic. So it looks like we have our first caller of the day. Let's bring them on. Let's swap mouses. And let's say to our first caller, hello, you are live on the Xander Gibb Show. What's your name and where are you calling from, Chet?
Yes. This is Chet Martin calling in, reporting from Biden Ranch.
Why is it when you call in, I feel I need to go like 10 shades deeper with my voice? Welcome back to the show, Chat. You are live with me, Kent Brockman.
That wasn't bad, actually, Xander. Did you check out Joe Biden and a few of his tweets where he announced his global initiative, the plan to spend several trillion of dollars to battle global warming, or I guess it's climate change, the global warming thing, they don't say that anymore, right?
No.
Climate change, and spearheading it and left to her own devices is going to be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Really?
Let's leave trillions of dollars in the hands of Mrs. AOC, Zan. Sounds like a solid idea to me.
Yeah, it does. Well, will they be investigating her campaign funds issues first, or will they be giving her more money to kind of, I wanted to say embezzle, but allegedly embezzle or something of that ilk? Hello to Barbara. Welcome to the live feed. Hello to Mike. I even heard a rumor today that Joe Biden was considering asking Sarah Palin to be his VP. I mean, what do you make of that? That it's just yeah, I really did.
No, well, they had something a few weeks back with Candace Owens. Did you see that one? Because she tweeted that she was in the running to be his vice presidential pick.
Yeah.
But it's looking more and more like it's going to be this and very weird name too, the Duckworth woman.
Oh, I know.
A lot of. They're like talking about her on The View. And once The View starts talking about you, there's usually a reason for that.
Yeah.
There are marching orders from the Democrat Party.
Well, let me tell you, there's a character on a soap opera in the UK here. It's called Coronation Street, and not a lot of Americans have heard of it. But there were a couple on there called Jack and Vera Duckworth. And every time I hear that name, it makes me think of them. And they were this kind of like, backstreet Manchester working class couple. And she's made herself very, as in Tammy Duckworth, not Vera or Jack, because they were great characters. But Tammy Duckworth is making herself more and more unpopular of late. Hi, Swoop. By just kind of, she hates America. Let's face it.
Well, yeah, and it's tough because the left is using that the defense of she served our country. I hate when the left does that because they are not friends to our military and our veterans.
No.
Look at the VA when it was ran under Bush and Obama, and nobody really talks about the fact, Xander, that President Trump really cleaned the VA up. And
right.
It's made it I've talked to veterans that are like, finally, I don't have to catch a bus to go all the way up island, referring to where I'm from. It's about an hour drive for some of these guys to go and get the help that they need. And we should be doing that to our veterans. And I'm just glad that Donald Trump made it so they can pick their own doctor
right.
and go where they need to go and get the treatment that they need to get. I think that's one of the great things about this president is how much he sticks up for our military men and women and our police.
Well, I think it's an interesting thing because there's a video that's circulating right now, and it shows the Donald And apparently it's okay to call him that because he sees that as a term of endearment. There's a video circulating right now of him going back like 35, 40 years. And his commentary hasn't changed in that 35 to 40 years with regards to his support of America, his tiredness of America being ripped off, and him wanting to get a better deal for Americans, all around. And I wish I'd seen, obviously the propagandists don't want you to see that, but I wish I'd seen that when I was supporting Ted Cruz and saying, never Trump, because that would have turned me on to him like almost immediately. Because when you actually start to look at Donald Trump as a candidate, where you actually see that this guy really loves America and actually has a zeal to make it better, like for all Americans, regardless of color, sex, sexuality, regardless of anything. And that makes a huge difference to me. Hi, Dave. Welcome to the live feed. And that enamors me further to him.
Well, we should all want America to succeed. And by succeeding, the way to do it is not by defunding the police, letting criminals out, and taking away the firearms from lawful Americans. All three of those things happened this week. And we do have President Trump in the White House, thank God.
Right.
Hillary was on with Trevor Noah. Did you see this one?
I did.
She goes on with,
but unfortunately, can I stop you?
Complaining about her loss.
Can I stop you? Can we not talk about that? Because it's one of the topics I've chosen to speak to our guest about, which will totally defeat the object. But I did see it. But on a separate note, with regards to Trevor Noah, I find it hard to believe that someone that's grown up in South Africa with all of the shit that South Africans go through, can come to a country like America and not embrace its freedoms without wanting to break them down. Does that ever cross your mind?
Well, I mean, that's crossed my mind with Barack Obama. I felt the same way.
Yeah.
His brother actually supports Trump.
Yeah.
If you believe it or not, or if you knew that, and that a lot of his family in Kenya, which is where I still think he originated from. A lot of his family in Kenya, they don't have any relationship with him, and he has shunned them because once they start to get involved in the body politic, they get corrupted. And Trevor Noah, everybody can say, oh, he's just a comic. He's on Comedy Central. He's working for the Democrat Party.
Of course.
You can't see that. It's obvious.
Of course. I actually have been asked several times if I'm on the Republican payroll, and I'm not, but damn it, I wish I was. That would be amazing. Are you on the Republican payroll, Chet? That's what I'm wondering, because we all must be if I am.
Well, I think, I have some checks coming in the mail is what I heard. And going back to what you were saying about President Trump and his start really in the political world, and he used to go to the Republican National Convention all the time, and there's like a really great picture of him and Ronald Reagan together from the '84 convention.
Yeah.
I saw him speaking with Oprah Winfrey, and it must have been about 1988.
Yeah.
And, really great-looking guy, had it all together, kind of had that Kennedy air to him. And you're right, the stuff that he talks about in that video with Oprah Winfrey, and anybody can go check it out, he's talking about, trade and how we're getting basically robbed by China.
Yeah.
And that we need to start,
China!
Investing more into America. The message has always been the same with Donald Trump.
But what does that say to you? Because when you look at the left, they're wishy-washy. Their message changes all the time. Apart from, of course, Joe Biden, whose message has always been, push the black man down, and we don't want any more Negroes in power. But how come black people forget that when it's time to vote? because I'm I'm a white guy. I'll say that for transparency because I know a lot of people think that I am black, and I'm not allowed to say that either because even when you're a comic, you're not allowed to talk about race now. But ultimately, for me, you see people who you see candidates for who they are, and you look
Yeah.
at their back catalog as it were. And like I said, Donald Trump has been saying the same thing for the past 35 to 40 years. But so has Joe Biden. But clearly, no one is taking any notice of that, are they?
No, and you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, the minority community has gotten used to being on, and I don't want to say this in the wrong way. Some people like to get handouts. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, but
and sometimes
yeah.
And I think sometimes that's more important, Xander, than going to the ballot box. But if you look at the trend when it comes to Republicans, when you go back to Reagan to Bush the second, and then President Donald Trump, he received more votes in the black and minority community than any of those other Republican candidates did. So there is a trend where you're seeing if it keeps up like it is, eventually they will be voting Republican again. And I think that's kind of like a natural progression that we're going to see with the minority community, but I think you will see it. I think in this one, you're going to notice it a little more.
Yeah, I think so too. But we keep banging this home, and I think the biggest possible downfall with this, and it's one of the only things that the left has got, is with regards to the mail-in ballots, because that is so left open to fraud as far as I am concerned. In fact, we have a guest coming on tomorrow night who is one of the Alawatma who stood in New York for one of the seats, for a representative seat in New York. And it's already proven fact for her that with regards to the potential of voter fraud with mail-in voting. And there are still piles of mail-in votes sitting with the post office. And who's to say that they're not being tampered with as we speak?
Well, they have been. If you didn't see that story that came out of California where they had to reject thousands of early votes because they were, there was some bad stuff found in them. And I was reading that right out of Breitbart yesterday. I need to look a little more into it. But, Xander, they were cheating prior to mail-in ballots. It would be a disaster this time around if we let them decide our elections like that.
Right.
And the sad excuse that they always use is that the Republicans are trying to keep minorities from voting. They want to kill old people. They don't want old people to vote. Nobody can get to these polling areas. It's too hard. It's not too hard. I see a lot of seniors when I'm out voting at the polls, and some of them are carpooling and getting there in any way, shape, or form that they can. So enough with the excuses from the Democrats, because if I'm one of their constituents, I don't want to hear that I'm too stupid to make it to the polls.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I never got this ideology that asking black people to have voter ID is racist.
Yeah.
Swoop, I don't know if you're still in the live feed, but Swoop was on the other day, and he was saying how offensive he found that too. Hi to Rich, who is just on in the live feed, and also hello to Yaz. I hope you weren't speeding to get home to listen to the show, Yaz. So that is an ideology that kind of it bugs me. I feel offended for black people when the left says, it's racist to expect black people to get voter ID. I mean, I reckon, I think one of us should try this. Go out and ask 20 different black people how many forms of photo ID they have in their wallet, and I bet most have got at least 2 or 3.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, what American doesn't have photo ID on them? So that tells you right then and there, it's not about African Americans in the U.S. It's about their new block that they're bringing in through the southern border. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. They turn their back on the black community because they want to cater to illegals, because illegals are more than likely to pull the black lever for Joe Biden, even if he's putting forth a platform which is socialist and Marxist in its agenda. They'll vote for that because they're used to that, which is sad. You would think it would go the other way, but people have put out some findings that it doesn't.
But isn't this exactly why they want to pull down the wall? Because this is one of the things in Joe Biden's agenda, that he wants to pull down the wall that's been built from Mexico. But I saw today in a press conference he was giving that already the parts of the wall that have been built, he said, I don't like calling it a wall because everybody thinks it's going to be something that's made of bricks when really it's a barrier to stop people coming across the border. That human trafficking has already been affected. You know, the human trafficking of women and children has already been affected, and you know, in a positive way. And also, you know, the amount of drugs being brought across the border has been reduced. So how could any America-loving citizen want that not to be there? I don't get it. Because how many parents who've lost their kids to drugs would not be there building it themselves if they had the opportunity to do so, to stop this filth from being brought in?
Yeah, and one of the arguments from the left is, well, Trump said that Mexico was going to pay for the wall. You know what, at this point, Xander, put a little more on my taxes. If it's going to get the wall built, so be it.
Yeah.
You know, I want the wall, and they do work. We know that because where they have walls in other countries, it works, especially in Israel. And we know that they have enemies, you know, at their doorstep every single waking moment of their existence. And their wall has cut down on the violence coming in from the Palestinian areas. I'm not going to say Palestine because that doesn't exist. The Palestinian areas and what they hold. And it would do the same thing here if we did it. You know, you can't just throw a wall up, though, and not put anybody. We would have to embolden our southern border rangers. But if we're defunding the police, people aren't thinking about this, Xander. The southern border is going to be affected too, because once you start defunding the police, it goes up and down in the state, in the districts, everywhere, and it will leave us basically sparse on the border without anybody to arrest these murderers, pedophiles, and rapists that are coming in and not being checked.
I mean, it makes me really angry when, you know, I don't like this current pope. You know, no disrespect to any Catholics that are listening, but this guy is a commie. You know, the pope is supposed to be God's representative on earth, and I don't think that God is a communist. So to be saying that walls don't work, why is the Vatican City surrounded by a wall? Why not, you know, pull down that wall if walls are not good?
And when did we ever have a pope that gets involved with politics?
Never before this one. Never. Ever. And I think it's disgusting that he does. But they're all working together with this communist lie. Because when he came to New York to visit, you know, De Blasio made all of these homeless centers for people, for the homeless people, and then as soon as he gone, he closed them. So you know, it's all a shit show.
Yes, he is an asshole. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be nasty. Bill de Blasio is an absolute jerk. You know, I saw this interview on Hannity with this young black couple that had a 1-year-old boy, or 22 months, that was sitting in his car seat while they were at a barbecue, and he got shot in the stomach, and he died. And you know, what the parents said was absolutely true. Our mayor's more worried about a photo op with painting Black Lives Matter on our streets, instead of actually saving black lives.
Absolutely. I can't discuss that topic with you either. for reasons that
Okay.
will become
I'm
apparent.
sorry.
Not that I'm under a
I'm
legal
like,
obligation.
you
And when you
I'm
said
zigging when I should zag.
yeah, no, but it's all good. When you said about you apologizing, for being mean and using the term assholes, I guess you meant you were apologizing to assholes for likening them to Bill De Blasio because I think he's a special kind of asshole.
Absolutely. That's
And,
perfect.
and his family are assholes too, because when you think about his daughter flaunting that, I don't have any kids, but if I had a kid, if I was in public office, even just as a radio and TV talk show host and commentator, if my kid was going out and doing that, I would kick their ass, no matter how old they were. You're a parent.
Absolutely.
I know your kids are younger, but if they were older and they were out doing this, well, your reaction would be probably similar.
I saw the picture of her from when she got arrested, and then I saw some images of her before she went off to school. She actually was, a becoming looking young lady. She didn't look insane. That mugshot of her,
Yeah.
Xander, if she's not on drugs, then
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in that picture. She
I
had
thought
those
that too.
eyes, those big bugged out Adam Schiff eyes. What is it with the left in those eyes?
Do you know what it is? Have you ever seen the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that's exactly
that.
what it is. They've all had their brains taken away, and they're in a storage locker in Queens,
Yeah.
in Queens somewhere. So let me ask you, Chet, does your kind of ideology about what's going to happen in November fluctuate too, or do you definitely think that he's going to win no problem, as in the President Trump?
Well, I've said this before. Yeah, I believe that he would win by landslide if things were going to be fair, but they're not going to. Look at all the roadblocks that they put in front of our president, including judges that basically tried to go over the president's head that were put in there by Barack Obama.
Yeah.
His agenda has been stifled. Not only his reelection, because what they're doing with the economy is they're creating a false narrative about this virus. And me and TV and Brian have always said on Freedom on Deck, we're not saying that the virus isn't real.
No.
What we're saying is they're not telling you the truth about it.
No, of course
and
not.
if you can't see that, then, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's like, it's obvious to me.
Well, it's funny how they're talking about, they're worried about a second wave in the winter. Let's face it, folks, there was never even a first wave. Our mutual friend, Dr. Kendra Becker, who comes on both of our shows, she's often sharing stuff about, like, what was it, the other day she shared something that said there were 150 million people that died, I think it was of typhoid or TB, one of the two. But that was never classified as a pandemic, So
Well,
it's ridiculous.
First of all, Kendra Becker Mutsante is just a fantastic woman.
Yes.
And, she does suffer the slings and arrows of putting her feelings and sometimes her politics, but she doesn't bring the information without the science behind it.
No.
And that's the great thing about when you or I have a guest like Kendra. The problem is, the other side will never, ever, ever listen to her, even if it would help them. Even if I went to them and said, just give her a chance, listen to what she has to say.
Right.
She's dealing in science. She'll lay it out for you. Even if they listen, they would be like, that's all conspiracy theory. And it's not.
I don't get that. The thing is that from you or I, it could be classified as conspiracy theory with the greatest of respect, because, we can give an opinion, but we're not qualified to give medical opinions. But she is, and like you said, she always backs it up with the facts. But there's always some liberal asshole out there ready to say that's not true, that's not the way it is. It to me is absolutely ridiculous. Hi to Russ, welcome to the live feed. It just has got to the point where, they believe that the climate change science. So what is it we're calling it this week? We are calling it global warming.
Hot weather, that's what we're calling it.
Hot
weather.
Yeah, how do you explain that? How do you explain that we still have a winter if we're experiencing global warming? I mean, isn't that bullshit? You know, I've lived in New York. When you're in the East Coast in a winter, you tell me that there is global warming in existence. You know?
Well, if you know, Xander, if you really want to just kind of look back in the chronicles of time and look at some of our fantastic journalists from the 70s when Mr. Jimmy Carter was in office, and this is true, anybody can look this up, they were talking about another ice age in the 70s. That's not that long ago, especially in the scope of thinking about how long our planet has been here.
Well, who was it
for
that
these
said
people to kind of create this agenda shows you the arrogance that they possess.
Who was it that said New York would be underwater by 2020? Someone in the 80s. Was it Dukakis?
That was Gore.
Gore. Yeah. So there you go. New York is not underwater, nor is it under any risk unless there happens to be, a giant tsunami overnight.
Well, Xander, don't forget they have a congressman, the Democrats do, that actually stood up and questioned somebody about, I forgot the island that it was, but he was asking if it would tip over. Did you ever see this one? He thinks that the island is going to tip over.
No, never heard so much idiocy in my life. And that's where we must leave it today, my friend. But thank you so much for calling in. Chet Martin, anchor from Freedom on Deck, Sundays 3 till 5 on... You go on, say it, Chet. Go on. WJJF. Go, WJJF. Thank you so much, Chet. I will speak to you very soon, my brother. Thanks a lot.
Have a good one. Bye.
Take care. Don't forget to check out Freedom on Deck. Make sure you go and click like on their Facebook page, and also go and check out their website where you will be able to see their show Sundays 3 till 5. So my guest tonight, who'll be calling us anytime now, is Tony Lusacco, political commentator, and he's going to be calling us very soon. My teleprompter is giving me so much hassle tonight. I should have just made myself another coffee and just poured some whiskey in it. No, I'm just joking. Where are we? We're just getting the teleprompter lined up for our chat with Tony, who should be calling us any second. Gina says, good call, Chet. Carl says, nice job, Chet, because Xander is just chopped liver and here for show. I'm joking. So don't forget to click that share button if you haven't done so already. Also, don't forget to go to the Xander Gibb Show page and click like on that so you can get the up-to-date information about what's going on with the show. Also, if you do get kicked out of the live feed, please come back. We're finding this more and more. It's obviously because I've commented on Mark Zuckerberg's micro penis once too often, and the fact that he got himself a mail order bride and lost his receipt, shall we say. There we go. So this should be my first guest, calling from the United States of America, the one, the only, the fabulous Tony Lusacco. Are you there, brother?
Hello, Xander.
How you doing?
Good.
How are things in the what's being described? Because you live in Florida, don't you? What's going on there? Apparently, because it's seen as the epicenter of COVID in America. Do you feel that, or is it just a total exaggeration of the left?
It's not a total exaggeration. Every one of our hospitals is filled. You can't even get to a hospital in our county right now. It's absolutely freaking disgusting.
Wow.
They need to do something about this. If somebody if one of my parents, God forbid, had a heart attack or so, there'd be no place getting it. It's not even on the news how bad it is. It's on the local Facebooks and the chat groups locally where people are being turned away from our hospitals, having to go to other counties. It's a disaster is what it is. So
what are they doing to combat that? What happened to the what happened to the naval ship, hospital ship that was sent to New York and never used? Why can't that be sent to Florida and be used there?
Because our governor apparently isn't requesting anything, as far as I know. I don't know what he is or isn't saying.
Wow.
That was my original thing. But, you know, the federal government has it, but they're not going to send the hospitals and build them unless the state asks. And our governor's too busy making like everything is okay. Everything's not okay.
Wow.
I can't speak for deaths once again. But you see, this is revealed on us. Death and sickness are two different things, okay?
Of course.
Even if they're telling the truth and less people are dying of it, people are still flooding the ERs very sick with 100-degree fevers, you know, and things like that.
Yeah.
People are sick and they can't get help.
But here's the thing: is this because that they're sick with COVID or other things? Because I've seen reports, not particularly from Florida, but in other areas, that the hospitals are not very full.
They're sick with COVID, but if it was just COVID, it would be different. I don't know how to explain.
Right.
Meaning, if our governor had not allowed the surgeries and the elective procedures to take place again and opened up the whole state, there'd be plenty of room for COVID patients, you know?
Right.
But because everything's open, hospitals only have so much, from what I understand, extra capacity, you know?
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's a COVID outbreak or a flu outbreak or a war or a hurricane or whatever. You know, hospitals are designed for an average load. That's why, like, for instance, in mass shootings, that's why they go into those casualty modes, you know?
Yes.
Hospitals aren't designed to take massive amounts of people at once.
No.
Well, you get a couple of thousand people in one area sick with COVID-19 needing a hospital, the hospital's full. It really is simple math from what I understand. I mean, I'm no freaking COVID expert or anything.
No.
However, anybody that says that this was not those protests that the liberal media said wasn't spreading things, and it's not okay to go to church, it's not okay to attend a President Trump rally, but it's okay to protest side by side in the street, screaming your head off,
Right.
chanting, throwing your spit left and right next to people, unprotected. Oh, no, but that didn't spread this. Come on, give me a break.
But
Everybody knows the truth in America.
But then you know that gays and liberals are immune to COVID-19, according to New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, because you know these people are allowed to protest and do these things if you're gay or if you're a liberal. And obviously, I'm not being anti-gay because I'm gay myself. I am anti-liberal. I'll be totally honest about that. But isn't that a concern that some things are acceptable but other things aren't? And they're spreading this shit, and you're not allowed to even say it.
I was disgusted. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not for churches opening and putting their members at risk, okay? But when California banned worship in churches but allowed protests in the street, something's wrong here.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course it is.
What does COVID-19 suddenly distinguish? Oh, you're protesting for a just cause. Nobody's going to get infected, even though you're doing worse than the people at the bars.
Right.
Give me a break.
Yeah, but come on, Tony. You're allowed to go to Walmart, but you're not allowed to go. It's such bullshit. You know, if it's that bad, why are people allowed to go to Walmart? Are you in a car?
No, I'm outside actually. In fact, here's another thing. See, they never make sense. Number one, okay, I'm not a drinker. I don't go to the bars or whatever, so I'm not trying to defend the drunk people or whatever, but what makes it safer to eat in a restaurant where the tables are side by side indoors and you have your mask off than at a bar? What's the difference? If you're going to ban bars, you should ban indoor dining too.
But this is the thing.
Space is the same. You're right up next to each other.
Right. But this is the thing, Tony, that any of the guidelines don't follow. You know, like in some, like here, you can go. You know, I went out for lunch with my sister and my family today, and you can do that, but you can't go get a haircut until next week. So it's ridiculous. There's no forethought with it, and it clearly is a pandemic, and they're actually not giving clear guidelines on the best way forward, and it's a worry. It really is. I wanna jump to another topic. if I can get my teleprompter to work. So Trevor Noah, no, I've never met a nice South African, had a big bad adrenochrome withdrawing Hillary Clinton on the show and asked Hillary what besides adrenochrome withdrawal she'd been up to during the quarantine. And because he said, because I know I would spend most of my time tweeting, I told you so, and would, I'm sorry, oh God. Not Siri, I said sorry, God. I just said sorry and my Siri just went on. Around the street, just looking at people and saying, oh, it could have been me, it could have been me. Well, you know, before the lockdown, I was doing all of that, Clinton joked in response. I mean, there's probably video. Things turned more serious regarding the 2020 race. It seemed like America is on an ominous path to a November date when there is going to be a lot of questions in and around the election, the host said. Donald Trump is vehemently against mail-in voting. What do you make of this, and what do you think the path is to getting people to easier access to casting their votes? Clinton argued that Republicans will try to prevent as many people who think they won't vote for them voting, specifically young people, African Americans, and Hispanics, which is really code for, you know, the Democrats are scared. Noah asked Clinton if Trump will try to undermine the legitimacy of the entire election if he loses. And she said, well, I think it's a fair point to raise as to whether or not he loses. He's not going to go quietly or not, and we have to be ready for that. But there have been so many academic studies and other analysis which point out it's just an inaccurate, fraudulent claim, steering the conversation back to the real danger of voter suppression and of foreign interference. Clinton said, look, I want a fair election. If people get to vote and they vote for whatever reason, vote for Donald Trump, okay, well, we'll accept it, but not happily. Is she just still bitter or what? Or do you think it is adrenochrome withdrawal?
You know, well, I mean, I think that's a two-part question. One,
it is. You're right.
Clinton bitter. Hillary Clinton's always been bitter since Slick Willie's Willie went out of play. Okay, she's been a bitter woman for a while. Let's face it. Okay.
Right.
Ever since Willie escaped in the Oval Office there, you know, with Monica, things haven't been right with Hillary. So Hillary is bitter. So Hillary's always going to be bitter, especially about the election. Now, as far as what Trump would do if he lost, I do see him laying a groundwork for a contested election with the voter fraud already. President Trump, or Donald Trump, from way before he was President Trump. See, I'm from New York area, upstate, but, you know, New York metropolitan area, got the New York Post and everything, so I was familiar with Donald Trump for a long time. There's one thing that Donald Trump never liked, and that was to lose.
But who does? In fairness, who does?
Very much see him contesting the election.
Right. But in fairness, who does like to lose?
It's true. So, I mean, the question is what would happen if that did, and, you know, I think we have historical precedent. I think the Supreme Court would literally decide a presidential election if it was close or contested in that way. We would have, unfortunately, it would come down to appointed judges deciding who is the next president of the United States. And I think that would be the final outcome. In fact, I think it's a likely final outcome.
Right. But that's a scary ideology, isn't it? That judges are going to decide it when we know that a lot of the judges are liberal, are Barack Obama appointees. I mean, imagine Amy Berman Jackson being expected to judge something like this when she can't even decide. She can't even be fair to Roger Stone.
Well, and here's a scarier thought. And my new webpage on Facebook, The Center, is just that I take a centerist view of everything. You have half the country who has said, Trump supporters, the militias, the hardcore guys, if he doesn't get reelected, they're going to be up in arms to defend him and keep him in power.
Right.
You have the other half of the country, the liberal militia, the Antifa, and now the black militants and everybody else, that wing, saying that if Trump gets reelected, they're going to start a revolution. So it's a scary situation where we might be headed for some severe civil unrest.
Hey, people, welcome to America.
Severe civil unrest.
Welcome to America. I think, in fairness, I think that if they allow everyone to do mail-in voting, because let's face it, if you can go to Walmart to get your six-pack and your sausage selection, then you can go and vote. It is that simple. And I think the more mail-in voting that there is, the more potential there is for fraud. So I would too be pissed if there was more mail-in voting than there needed to be, because I think that people with disabilities, et cetera, should be entitled to mail-in voting. I'm disabled. I still get to the polls. I still make sure that I can get there. And so ultimately, it's another ridiculous excuse to say, oh, this is needed for everybody.
And I'm not saying, I'm probably going to get laughed at for saying this. I know there's risks involved in it, but I almost think that a digital ballot, doing it over the internet, if it could be secured where it's not hacked, and I do stress if it could be secured in a way that it's rock solid where it's not hacked, where people would verify their identity with their social security card, the driver's license, or even fingerprint scan to enable people to vote electronically, might be a better system. But I'm not, I don't want to get a bunch of hate mail now because it's just a thought I had. Let's put it that way.
Well, I
thought,
definitely see your point, Tony, but obviously that's not testable and sortable by November. I know that, if you're voting internationally, if you're an American citizen and you're voting in the election from another country, you have to go through a hell of a lot of scrutiny just to be able to do that. But if you are in the United States, there's not that same level of scrutiny. So I think there needs to be more scrutiny. I do think there needs to be, voter ID and things like this. But that's not going to be something that's going to be ready for November, is it? Let's face it.
No. There's no easy solution. And, I've heard rumors that the game plan is to postpone the elections until let COVID spread that badly, where everybody agrees that the election needs to be postponed.
Wow. What would the response be to that, though, Tony?
I hope to God that's not the case,
What do you think
that's not the end game, is to postpone elections.
What do you think the response would be to that?
What's that?
What do you think the response would be to them postponing the November elections till after COVID is gone?
Well, let's put it this way. Right now, there would be a revolution, but we don't know what this is going to turn into or how bad it's going to get.
But they're saying there's going to be a revolution, whatever, aren't they? So the kind of thing is that, Trump is damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. There's going to be a revolution if he stops the election. There's going to be a revolution if he wins the election. There's going to be a revolution. I just want to sing, don't you know, talking about a revolution. So there's going to be one whatever. So come what may. Do you know what I mean?
And I have already come up with a solution, and I have already initiated my own solution. I have sent a formal letter to the Queen of Great Britain apologizing for our treason and begging her to take us back on behalf of the American people.
Well,
I've already sent the letter to Queen Elizabeth. We formally apologize for the revolution of 1770. Please.
But Tony, what if we don't want you in the UK? Because I have dual citizenship, but what if because I'm on the board of kind of approving all of these American citizens that want to come and live in the UK. I am joking. I am not, of course. But a lot of people have said to me how lucky they think I am right now to be able to live in the UK and to have this level of dual citizenship. Because I love America, but I really wouldn't want to be there right now. And I think that it's just filled with such trauma, and it's only going to get worse until the election is over, until it's been decided, who is going to lead us for the next 4 years. And I think that there is, I know that you call yourself a libertarian, but I don't know if you can really see yourself voting for Joe Biden given the fact that number one, he's dementing, and number two, he's been a racist for only 40 years in office.
I never said I would vote for Joe Biden.
No.
Nor did I say I would vote for Donald Trump.
But if
I am a libertarian.
Yeah.
I believe in the least possible government. As I said on a prior show, I believe that Donald Trump actually guarded federalism very well with his response and letting the states take it on. Whereas if we had a Democratic administration, the military might have been called out into the streets. The whole country might have been shut down. There might have been martial law because they believe in big government responses. I think that the fact that we might have looked, let me just say it to you straight up.
Very, very quickly, last comment.
More like China if there was a Democrat in office.
Right.
I'll say it again. We might have looked more like China.
China!
If there was a Democrat in office.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where we have to leave it, Tony. Thank you so much. Tell people where they can find you on Facebook.
You can finally find me on The Center at Facebook. It's capital C, The Center. Just look up The Center on Facebook and you will see social, political, and religious commentary. If you don't like it, don't go to the page.
Abso-freaking-lutely. It's a free country at the moment. But after November, who knows? Tony, thank you so much for joining us. Go check out Tony Lusacco on Facebook at The Center. And we will speak to you again very soon, Tony. Thanks a lot. Give our love to Kiko.
Yes.
Thanks. Bye-bye. That was Tony Lusacco. Go check him out. That's all we have time for for today. I'm just having pictures of revolutions going on in my head right now, and want to sing that Tracy Chapman song, but I won't bore you with that again. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Yes, that's right. Yes, China. Not had your fill of the Gibster. You can catch me 5 nights a week, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, and 10 a.m. the next day in Australia. Join us tomorrow for more scintillating chat when Al Hawatma and Tammy Messina from The Real Side join us. Thank you so much for watching. Click that share button. Do stay safe. I really do love you all. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were never bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes, sirree.